Hello everybody, my name's Erica, and welcome back to my channel, Ginger Books. So today I am bringing you another fun-filled video, and this one is my anticipated releases of 2020. I am so excited for next year because there is so many books coming out that I want to read, but I'm only going to tell you a select few that I am really anticipating to read. Now, number one on my list, I think you all know what sparked my love for this genre of historical fiction was the Truly Devious series. I read it this year, the first book, Truly Devious, and the second book, Vanishing Stair. So now my number one anticipated release for next year that's going to release in January 21st is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. I apologize if you see me look down in this video. It's because I want to read you guys the actual synopsis and summaries of the book without giving anything away. And it does kind of give a couple of things away. So if you have not read Truly Devious or The Vanishing Stair, you may want to click ahead on this video. So sorry, it's a little bit of spoiler filled, but I wanted to read the Goodreads synopsis because this is probably the best synopsis I have read about it so far. Ellington Academy must be cursed. 3 people are now dead. 1, a victim of either a prank gone wrong or a murder. Another, dead by misadventure, and now an accident in Burlington has claimed another life. All 3 in the wrong place at the wrong time, all at the exact moment of Stevie's greatest triumph. She knows who Truly Devious is. She's solved it, the greatest case of the century. At least she thinks she has. The latest tragedy, it's hard to concentrate on the past. Not only has someone died in town, but David disappeared of his own free will and is up to something. Stevie's sure that somehow, all these things connect. The 3 deaths in the present, the deaths in the past, the missing Alice Ellingham, and the missing David Eastman. Somewhere in this place of riddles and puzzles, there must be answers. Then another accident occurs as a massive storm heads toward Vermont. This is too much for the parents and administration. Ellingham Academy is evacuated. Obviously, it's time for Stevie to do something stupid. It's time to stay on the mountain and face the storm and murder. So, I am so excited for this release. I have never fallen head over heels for a trilogy this much before, and I'm so excited. I can't say excited enough. I just don't have any other words to explain it. So, I'm just anticipating it. We'll just put it at that. So, the second book on my list, Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is going to be the first installment of The Last Hours. Either trilogy or series. I'm not 100% sure how long this is going to be, but this pretty much, if I remember right, kind of takes after what happens in, because you're still in Edwardian London back when the first kind of prequel trilogy with, what is it called? The Infernal Devices series. Wow. One of these days I'll have my facts straight. With the Infernal Devices series, and I cannot wait for this installment, and that's the reason why I have been trying to reread this whole series in publishing order to get through it so we can get ready for this one. Have I forgotten it? Yes, I have forgotten that I've been doing a read-through of it. So, but we're back on track. I am trying to read them this time around I'm trying to listen to them on audio, and I've been kind of liking it more on audio than actually reading the physical book. So I'm waiting for Fallen Angel, which I have on hold through the app Libby, which I have been using and has been recommended by so many booktubers to use. So I'm still waiting. It was a 4-week wait, and I think I placed the hold last week, so I might have to check on that. Anywho, we're not here for that. So Chain of Gold synopsis goes like this. Welcome to Edwardian London, a time of electric lights and long shadows, the celebration of artistic beauty and the wild pursuit of pleasure, with demons waiting in the dark. For years there has been peace in the Shadowhunter world. James and Lucy Herondale, children of the famous Will and Tessa, have grown up in an idyll with their loving friends and family, listening to stories of good defeating evil and love conquering all. But everything changes when the Blackthorn and Carstairs families come to London, and so does a remorseless and inescapable plague. James Herondale longs for a great love and thinks he has found it in the beautiful, mysterious Grace Blackthorn. Cordelia Carstairs is desperate to become a hero, save her family from ruin, and keep her secret love for James hidden. When disaster strikes the Shadowhunters, James, Cordelia, and their friends are plunged into a wild adventure which will reveal dark and incredible powers and the true, cruel price of being a hero and falling in love. I got goosebumps. I'm so excited for this book, and especially since it's in one of my favorite time periods, which is Victorian and Edwardian London. Ah! Thank you, Cassandra Clare. Who knows? Maybe you might take the reigning champion of my all-time favorite series or trilogies again. I don't know. It's really hard to beat the Stalking Jack the Ripper series right now. Very excited for that. The Will and Tessa thing. Yep, that kind of gave away a little bit of the Infernal Devices, didn't it? Gosh dang it! Well, you caught it first. I kind of spoiled myself a little bit, even though I was really hoping for that ship in the end. Anyways, let's continue before I ruin any more. Oh, before I forget, Chain of Gold releases March 3rd. So, the next one on the list, and it doesn't really have a synopsis yet, the authors have not released it, and that is found by PC and Kristin Cast, which is the final installment of the House of Night Otherworld series that they had released for the 10th anniversary of releasing their first book of the House of Night series, Marked. I have not read Forgotten yet. It released, I believe, 2 months ago, because I have it on an Amazon Christmas list. So I've been anxiously waiting to see if I do get it for Christmas. If not, I am definitely buying up that book. And so far, I have not completed the second book. I got maybe a fourth of the way through it and then kind of had to stop reading because I tried reading it during the last semester of college. And y'all know, college can be hectic, and trying to sometimes pleasure read, it gets pushed off. So, but that's supposed to release in July of 2020. I believe the beginning part of July. So I'm definitely excited for it. I mean, I have all of the House of Night books, almost all of the novelettes, all of the graphic novels they've released, all of the other world books they've released so far besides Forgotten. So it has been one of my favorite series, even though it does have some problems in it, I will admit, especially in the House of Night series being almost, 12 books long, and some of them probably could have done without. Anyways, I still love that series, and it's still one of my top favorite series of all times, which is in another video of my top 8 series of all times. Go check that out. Now, this next one, I decided to go on Goodreads and check out all the 670 titles that are supposed to be releasing in 2020, depending on, deadline dates and everything. And so I started going through the titles, and some of these caught my eye, and one of them was Deadly Curious by Cindy Asti. This is supposed to set in the 1834 London, and it deals with another main character it's a woman character named Sophia Thomas who wants to join Bow Street Runners, which is a famed criminal investigation in London, and she's totally into it. Now, of course, yes, the reason why it perked my interest is because I'm trying to fill the void of Stalking Jack the Ripper, even though nothing can replace Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell in my heart. But this definitely intrigued me. This was very unladylike, so they're playing on the society norms here. This is definitely a historical fiction novel, but with her capabilities and how smart and cunning this woman it seems to be in the synopsis, she is called upon for help, has to help solve these murders that are happening. So it definitely piqued my interest, and I cannot wait, and it releases in April 14th is the pending date, so I cannot wait. Now, the next one on my list is called Blood Countess by Lana Popovic. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. And this is supposed to release also in January. That's on January 28th. I'm going to read you the synopsis because this is what really intrigued me, because I've always wanted to learn more about this famous countess in world history. So, the 17th century Hungarian Anna Dorvelia has been working as a scullery maid for the young and glamorous Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Sorry if I'm butchering that. When Elizabeth takes a liking to Anna, she's vaulted into the dream role of chambermaid, a far cry from the filthy servants' quarters below. She receives wages generous enough to provide for her family, and the Countess begins to groom Anna as her friend and confidant. It's not long before Anna feels completely under the Countess's spell, falls completely under the Countess's spell, and the Countess takes full advantage. Isolated from her former friends, family, and fiancé, Anna realizes she's not a friend, but a prisoner of the increasingly cruel Elizabeth. Then come the murders, and Anna knows it's only a matter of time before the Blood Countess turns on her too. This book seems like it's going to be based off Elizabeth, who was very cruel, very, very cruel woman who killed her maids and bathed in their blood, thinking that it would keep her immortal and keep her young. So this intrigued me because I've kind of wanted to learn more. Yes, this is a historical YA fiction novel, but it has to be based on some facts, so I really want to see what the author does with it. So definitely anticipated to get this book. So on to my 6th book on this list. It is called The Kingdom of Black Back by Mary Lou, and it's set to release March 3rd, along with Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This book brings in composers and the history of composers into a historical YA fantasy novel. Just alone, the first sentence, and it says 2 siblings, 2 brilliant talents, but only one Mozart. Born with a gift for music, Nannerl Mozart has just one wish: to be remembered forever. But even as she delights audiences with her masterful playing, she has a little hope she'll ever become the acclaimed composer she longs to be. She is a young woman in 18th century Europe, and that means composing is forbidden to her. She will perform only until she reaches a marriageable age. Her tyrannic father has made that much clear. And as Nannerl's hope grows dimmer with each passing year, the talents of her beloved younger brother, Wolfgang, only seem to shine brighter. His brilliance begins to eclipse her own, until one day a mysterious stranger from a magical land appears with an irresistible offer. He has the power to make her wish come true, but his help may cost her everything. As a person who loves classical music, and one of my favorite classical concertos to play on bassoon is Mozart's Concerto in B flat. So I definitely want to read this book, and it is by Marie Lu, and I believe she's the one that released Warcross, and I've seen Books and Lala, and I can't remember the other one that has read that book, and she kind of had mixed reviews on it, but I definitely want to try this one out just because it just historical fiction, music, what could go wrong? I say that now and then I end up hating it. Anyways, 7th book on my list is called Havenfall by Sarah Holland, and this is set to also release on March 3rd. I was intrigued by it just because it's like another very strong female character who is wants to be in charge of this inn where magical creatures have a safe haven and can live kind of like in peace and in neutral, but something goes wrong and her uncle, who owns the tavern, gets sick and things start to happen, and it just sounded interesting, and it says Havenfall #1, so I'm wondering if this is going to be a series, and it's low on my list so that if I don't get to it, I don't know, it just kind of piqued my interest and I put it on my list when I saw it on these Goodreads lists, but I figured I would mention it because it seems intriguing. Now on the next one, I definitely want to pick up, and it's called Harrow Lake by Kate Ellis, and it releases on July 9th of next year. And the synopsis goes as Lola Knox is the daughter of a celebrated horror filmmaker and thinks she knows all about Harrow Lake, the setting of his most famous movie. But when her father is brutally attacked and she's sent there to stay with her reclusive grandmother, she realizes the town is harboring secrets more horrifying than she ever would have imagined. Not only is this place where her mother disappeared without a trace, it's a town holding onto a dark path that's even more frightening than her father's movies. As Lola is drawn deeper into the town's grip, she starts to question what's real, what happened to her mother, and whether she'll ever get out of Harrow Lake alive. Now that's really interesting because I really love, I don't know how to describe this book other than it's like mystery, horror, thriller, suspense, YA novel, and I love books like that where it's like a crime. So I definitely will pick this up probably in July because this just seems like a really good book. Now, last but not least is a romance novel, which is a little surprising to me because I'm not hugely into romance. Like the romance, if it's in like a supernatural paranormal book or an action adventure type book, then that's completely fine. I mean, look at Stalking Jack the Ripper. That literally was all centering around Audrey Rose and her relationships and the stuff that she's gone through, and especially the huge main factor of her and Thomas's relationship as they grow stronger together and then start having to face huge problems and obstacles because of that. But this one, When the Saints Falls by A.D. McCammon? Sorry again if I'm butchering names. And this is supposed to set to release in January 16th. So it's another January release. And this is what the synopsis reads. Thatcher Michelson is a bully. Arrogant, cruel, ruthless, and the most attractive guy I've ever laid eyes on. Oh boy. one of these. He's the rebel of Westbrook High, and I'm merely the annoying goody two-shoes he dubbed the Saint. So going after somebody that literally is harassing you and abusing you. Alright, there must be something wrong with me. After nearly 2 years of dirty looks and constant humiliation, I'm still crushing on the guy who hated me on sight. Then he kissed me, and instead of the ice-cold gaze I was accustomed to, I saw passion burning behind his dark molten eyes. What? Violet St. James doesn't belong in my world. Good, kind, pure. She's everything I'm not. She doesn't just look like an angel, she is one. And I've fought every impulse to make her mine. If that's true, then this is another kind of like angel type romance, adventure, paranormal story. Which I'm kind of into, but okay. But all my efforts went up in flames the second I tasted her sweet lips. My inability to stay away has changed everything. She's determined to break down all my walls, but my little saint doesn't understand the consequences of her actions. She tells me she's not afraid of the fall, but she should be. I'm intrigued, but I'm also kind of, what's the word? Scared to read it, because this seems like one of those, I'm falling for my abuser, and then my abuser turns into my lover, because he secretly liked me all along, and didn't know how to convey his feelings. I'll still read it, but I'm a little apprehensive reading it, but it did pique my interest because of the angel thing in it. So those are my so far anticipated releases. It's roughly about a 10 to 12 books that I'm looking for, but obviously as more books are set to release and, you know, I read the synopsis, I might find more books I want to buy in 2020. And maybe some of them may not even be books that were released in 2020. Booktuber problems, right? So, without further ado, thank you for watching this wonderful video. I hope you got something out of it, and maybe you found some anticipated releases you want to put on your list for 2020. Again, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave a comment down below, and also hit that subscribe and bell notification so you're notified when I post. So the next video will be on Monday, which is my vlog video. And next Thursday is another fun-filled video, something like this. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!